Obsession is not love. Love is calm. Love is comfortable. Obsession is something else entirely. It's a psychological glitch, a short circuit in the human brain that locks someone's attention onto a single person and refuses to let go. And here's the uncomfortable truth most men never hear. Women don't become obsessed with the man who treats them the best. They become obsessed with the man they cannot fully figure out. Let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed how the man who sends the sweetest messages, the man who always replies instantly, the man who does everything right, is usually the man she loses interest in first? Meanwhile, the man who is unpredictable, the man who doesn't chase, the man who feels just slightly out of reach, somehow lives in her head rent-free. Why? Because attraction does not run on kindness alone. It runs on psychology. Most men spend their entire lives trying to be loved. They buy flowers. They send good morning texts. They listen to problems they don't even care about. And slowly, without realizing it, they trade their dignity for the hope of affection. But in the end, they get friend-zoned. They get replaced. Or they get left for the man who didn't do any of those things. And that's the cold reality society avoids talking about. Women rarely obsess over the man who treats them like a queen. They obsess over the man who feels like a mystery their mind needs to solve. So today, I'm not going to teach you how to be a better boyfriend. I'm not going to give you soft advice about communication or emotional support. Instead, I'm going to show you something far more powerful, the psychological triggers that quietly control attraction beneath the surface. Think of it as the hidden software running inside the female mind. And once you understand how that software works, you stop chasing. You start living in her thoughts. In this video, we're going to break down 7 psychological triggers, 7 subtle tricks, if you want to call them that bypass her logical filters and speak directly to the part of her brain wired to chase what feels rare, uncertain, and emotionally stimulating. But before we go any further, you need to understand something. These triggers are powerful. They tap into dopamine loops, intermittent reinforcement, and something psychologists call emotional scarcity. Once these switches are flipped, they are very difficult to turn off. She won't simply like you. She'll start thinking about you when she shouldn't, wondering where you are, replaying conversations in her mind, feeling a strange emptiness when you disappear. So if you're not ready to handle that level of attention, if you're still looking for safe, polite advice, this is probably the wrong video for you. But if you're ready to stop chasing women and start becoming the man they can't stop thinking about, then listen carefully. Because the first trigger starts with something almost no man understands. Trick number 1, the vacuum of validation. Before anything else, you need to understand the mistake almost every man makes within the first 5 minutes of meeting a woman. And if you're honest with yourself, you've probably done this too. You see a beautiful woman walk into the room, your brain instantly flips into performance mode. Suddenly you feel this pressure, this invisible urge to prove something, to prove you're interesting, to prove you're successful, to prove you're different from every other guy she's dealt with that week. So you start talking more than you should. You laugh a little too hard at her jokes. You agree with things you don't even fully believe. She says she loves astrology. You nod. She says pineapple belongs on pizza. You nod again. She tells a mediocre joke, and you laugh like she just performed a stand-up special. And in your head it feels right. You think you're building attraction. You think you're showing confidence. But what you're actually doing is something far worse. You're suffocating it, because attraction doesn't grow in comfort. It grows in tension. It grows in uncertainty. It grows in the small psychological gaps where a woman starts asking herself a dangerous question. What exactly does this man think about me? The moment you hand her unlimited validation, that question disappears. And when the question disappears, so does the intrigue. Most men don't realize this. But women live in a constant flood of validation. Open her Instagram, scroll through the comments. You're perfect, so beautiful, marry me, heart emojis, fire emojis, Worship disguised as compliments. Hundreds of men lining up to hand her approval she never had to earn. And then another man shows up and does the exact same thing. Another compliment, another laugh, another approval stamp. Just another face in the crowd. Now imagine something different. Imagine she tells a joke. It's not that funny. Most men laugh immediately. You don't. You look at her. You give a small smirk. And then, nothing. 3 seconds of silence. And something strange happens inside her mind. Her brain starts searching. Why didn't he laugh? Did I say something stupid? Is he unimpressed? Does he even like me? That small moment of silence, that tiny disruption in the validation she's used to, creates psychological friction. And friction creates curiosity. Curiosity creates obsession. Here's another example you've definitely seen before. She posts a photo online. Not just any photo. One of those photos. You know the ones. Perfect lighting, perfect pose. Just enough skin to trigger attention without saying it directly. Within minutes, the comments start pouring in. You're stunning. So gorgeous. Unreal. Dozens. Sometimes hundreds. Now she sees that you viewed the story. Your name appears in the viewer list. And she waits. 10 minutes. 30 minutes. An hour. But you don't like it. You don't comment. You don't react. Nothing. That silence becomes louder than all the compliments combined. Because human psychology hates empty space. Nature hates a vacuum. When you remove the validation she expects to receive automatically, her brain starts trying to earn it. Suddenly she notices you more. She asks more questions. She leans in closer when you talk. She touches your arm a little longer than necessary, not consciously, instinctively. Because the human mind becomes obsessed with what feels just slightly out of reach. And this is where most men fail. They are terrified of silence. Silence makes them uncomfortable. They think silence means they're losing her, so they rush to fill the space. Another joke, another compliment, another attempt to impress. But the men who understand psychological attraction know something most people never learn. Silence is not your enemy. Silence is the stage. And if you're disciplined enough to leave that stage empty, her mind will step onto it. And once a woman starts performing inside her own imagination, that's when the real obsession begins. Trick number 2, fracture the pedestal. There's a psychological bias called the halo effect. It's simple. When someone is physically attractive, your brain automatically assigns them other qualities they may not even possess. Smart, kind, interesting, deep. Most of the time, none of that has been verified. Your brain just fills in the blanks because the packaging looks good. And men fall for this trap constantly. A beautiful woman walks into the room and suddenly grown men start behaving like nervous teenagers. Voices change, posture changes, their entire personality softens. They start treating her like she's royalty, like she's some rare creature that must be handled delicately. They laugh too quickly. They agree too easily. They become fans. And here's the problem with becoming a fan. Fans worship, but people who are worshipped eventually grow bored of their audience. Look at celebrities. Thousands of people admire them, praise them, chase them. And what do celebrities usually feel toward those fans? Indifference. Because admiration without resistance becomes invisible. If you want a woman to obsess over you, you cannot behave like a fan. You have to be the one man in the room who is not hypnotized by the surface. Now, before someone misunderstands this, I'm not talking about childish insults. I'm not talking about those awkward neglines guys repeat from pickup forums. That's amateur behavior. That screams insecurity. Real power is quieter than that. Real power is calm indifference to the things everyone else worships. Imagine this situation. She walks into the room, and you can almost feel the shift. Heads turn, guys straighten their backs. Someone offers to buy her a drink within 30 seconds. She's used to this. She's lived inside this reaction for years. Now she starts talking to you, And instead of staring at her like everyone else, you look straight through the performance. She's telling a story about how wild her weekend was. Everyone around her laughs. You listen, then tilt your head slightly and say, "You know something? You play the carefree party girl really well, but honestly, you strike me as someone who overthinks everything when she's alone." Now watch what happens in that moment. Her brain pauses because you didn't compliment her beauty. You didn't react like everyone else. You stepped past the mask she shows the world, or maybe she presents herself as tough, independent, untouchable. You look at her calmly and say, "You act like nothing bothers you, but I get the feeling you hate letting people see when something actually hurts." That's the fracture. You're taking the perfect image she presents to the world and placing a small crack right down the middle of it. Not to insult her, but to reveal that you're not hypnotized by the performance. And here's the strange part. People secretly crave this, because being admired for a mask is exhausting. Deep down, everyone wants someone who can see past the act. Most men stare at her beauty. The rare man dissects the psychology behind it. One worships the image, the other dismantles it. Be the man who sees the cracks. Because once she believes you can see the real version of her, you stop being just another admirer. You become the one person whose attention actually matters. And that changes the entire dynamic. Now let's move to something far more dangerous. Trick number 3, the dopamine roller coaster. This one is powerful enough that casinos have built entire empires around it. It's the same psychological mechanism that ruins people's lives at slot machines. And once you understand it, you'll start noticing it everywhere. There was an experiment done with lab rats. 2 different setups. In the first setup, the rat presses a lever and receives food every single time. Press lever, food appears. Simple, predictable. After a while, the rat only presses the lever when it's hungry. No obsession, no frenzy, just routine. But in the second setup, something different happens. The rat presses the lever. Sometimes food appears. Sometimes nothing happens. Sometimes it gets a huge reward. Sometimes it gets a mild shock, completely unpredictable, and the rat becomes obsessed. It presses the lever again and again and again, long after it's hungry, long after it should stop. Some rats will literally press the lever until they collapse from exhaustion. Why? Because the brain becomes addicted to uncertainty. The next reward might be massive, or it might not come at all. That anticipation floods the brain with dopamine. Now think about how most men behave when they like a woman. They are consistent, predictable, safe. She texts them. 2 minutes later they reply. Every time, she sends a message at night. "Good night." He sends the same message back. Every night, "Good morning" texts. Daily check-ins, perfect reliability. And in theory, that sounds like what women say they want. But in reality, predictability slowly drains emotional intensity. The brain stops chasing what it already understands. Mystery disappears. And when mystery disappears, passion usually follows. So what creates obsession? Contrast. Warmth followed by distance. Presence followed by absence. One day you're fully engaged. You're sharp, playful, attentive. You reply quickly. You make plans. You create a moment where she feels that spark. Her brain lights up. Dopamine surge. She thinks, okay, this is going somewhere. Then the next day something changes. You're still polite, still calm, but less available. Your responses take longer. Your messages are shorter. Your attention is focused elsewhere. Work, training, your mission. Now her brain starts running calculations. What changed? Did I say something wrong? Is he losing interest? Is there another woman? And suddenly the man who felt easy to understand becomes a puzzle. She checks her phone, nothing. She reads your last message again, still nothing. The tension builds. Then hours later, your message appears. Just saw this. Been busy. How's your day going? And the relief that hits her brain is stronger than the original attraction, because dopamine after anxiety feels euphoric. You've just created a loop: anticipation, withdrawal, relief. Repeat that cycle enough times, and she stops reacting logically. She starts reacting chemically. Is this manipulation? Some people would say yes. Is it morally pure? Probably not. But look around. Look at the men women cry over. Look at the men they obsess about months after the relationship ends. It's rarely the predictable man. It's rarely the man who made everything safe and easy. It's the man they could never fully decode. The man whose attention felt valuable. The man who wasn't handing out validation like participation trophies. The puzzle always wins, and the man who understands how to become that puzzle controls the emotional game before it even begins. Trick number 4, the no that means power. Look around for a second and you'll notice something strange about modern men. Most of them are terrified of saying one simple word: no. Not because they can't say it, because they're afraid of what might happen if they do. They're afraid she'll get upset, afraid she'll lose interest, afraid she'll disappear, so they become agreeable, flexible, soft around the edges. She says she wants sushi tonight. You don't even like sushi, but you say yes. She wants to watch some reality show you couldn't care less about. You say yes again. She asks you to change your plans for her, cancel something, rearrange your schedule. And you do it again and again and again. And here's the brutal part most men never understand. Every time you say yes when you actually wanted to say no, something subtle happens inside her mind. Your authority shrinks, your gravity weakens, because women are extremely sensitive to power dynamics. They can feel when a man bends too easily. And once she realizes she can move you with a small amount of pressure, the respect begins to fade. It's not even something she does consciously, it's instinct. A man she can easily control cannot be the man she relies on when life gets hard. If she can bend you, the world can break you. And deep down, every woman is searching for a man who doesn't break. Now imagine a different kind of man. She says, "We should go to that place Friday." You pause, calm, unrushed, and you say, "Friday doesn't work for me." No apology, no nervous explanation, just certainty. Watch her reaction in that moment. Sometimes she'll test you. She might push. Why not? Sometimes she'll act slightly annoyed. Sometimes she'll tease you about it. But something else is happening beneath the surface. Her brain is recalibrating your position, because suddenly you're not another man orbiting around her schedule. You have your own life, your own priorities, your own direction. And here's the part most men get wrong. Saying no isn't about aggression. It's not about being rude or confrontational. That's insecurity. Real authority is calm, quiet, unshaken. It's the difference between a man arguing to prove himself and a man who simply states his boundary and moves on. Think of it like this. A child pushes against the walls of a house. They test them, they shove them. They want to see if they move. If the wall shifts even slightly, the child becomes uneasy. But if the wall stands firm, solid, immovable, the child relaxes, because structure creates safety. Women test men the exact same way. They push, they tease, they challenge, not because they hate boundaries, but because they're searching for them. And when they finally find a man who stands his ground without anger, without fear, something strange happens. Her respect spikes, her curiosity spikes, even her attraction spikes, because power, when expressed calmly, is magnetic. The word no becomes something rare, something sharp, something that carries weight. To a woman who's used to hearing endless yeses from men trying to impress her, a calm, grounded no feels almost intoxicating. It signals something most men no longer possess, a spine. Now let's move to something far more subtle and far more dangerous. Trick number 5, create future nostalgia. This one is quiet, almost invisible, But when it's done correctly, it can stay inside a woman's mind for weeks. Most conversations between men and women are painfully predictable. How was your day? What are you doing right now? What did you eat? It's small talk, flat, forgettable. Nothing about those conversations lingers in her mind once they're over. But obsession doesn't come from the present moment. Obsession grows in imagination, in anticipation, in the space between now and what might happen next. So instead of anchoring your conversations in the present, you start planting small seeds in the future. Imagine you're walking through the city with her. You pass a small restaurant. The smell of spices hits the air. You glance at it and say casually, "One day I'm taking you there, but honestly I don't know if you can handle the spice." Then you keep walking. You don't explain. You don't plan the date. You just leave it hanging there, a small unfinished thought. Later that night she sees a trailer for a movie. You say something like, "That reminds me of that story you told me earlier. We're going to watch that together sometime." Again, you don't schedule it, you don't force it. You plant the idea and move on. Now something strange begins happening in her mind when you're not around. She walks past a spicy restaurant, and suddenly she remembers that moment. She sees a movie trailer online. She remembers what you said. You've created mental triggers scattered throughout her environment. Little reminders of you hidden in ordinary places. And the most fascinating part, none of those memories have even happened yet. She's missing experiences that don't exist. Her brain has already simulated a future where you and her are doing those things together, laughing, arguing, exploring, sharing moments. And once the brain creates that imagined future, it begins to crave it. This is future nostalgia. She feels emotionally attached to a memory that hasn't happened yet. A future that only exists because you placed it there, quietly, casually, like a whisper. And before she even realizes what's happening, you've already started living inside her imagination. Which, as you'll see in the next trick, is where obsession truly begins. Trick number 6, the triangle of desire. Let's strip away the polite lies for a moment and talk about how humans actually behave. We want what other people want, not what they claim to want, what others compete for. Think about something simple. You walk past 2 restaurants. One is empty, dead quiet, tables untouched. Even if the menu looks good, something inside your brain whispers, something's wrong with that place. Now you walk past another restaurant. There's a line outside, people waiting in the rain. Suddenly that same brain says, that place must be incredible. Same food, same price, different perception. Why? Because desire is contagious. Scarcity signals value. And women are exceptionally tuned into this signal. Women are socially intelligent in ways most men underestimate. They read social dynamics the way a hunter reads footprints. If no other women seem interested in you, her subconscious immediately runs a silent calculation. What's wrong with him? There must be something off. Maybe he's weak. Maybe he's boring. Maybe other women already figured something out that I haven't. But the moment she senses that other women enjoy your presence, everything changes. Your value spikes. This is called pre-selection. And most men completely butcher this concept. They try to manufacture it in the most embarrassing way possible. They brag, "My ex still texts me. That bartender was totally flirting with me." That kind of behavior doesn't create attraction. It screams insecurity. Real pre-selection is quiet. It's subtle. It's a vibe that doesn't need explanation. Imagine you're sitting with her somewhere casual. Your phone lights up. You glance at it. A small smile appears. Then you flip the phone back over and continue the conversation. You don't explain. You don't volunteer information. You simply continue existing. Now a small question forms in her mind. Who was that? Why did he smile like that? But you never answer the question, because the mystery itself does the work. Or imagine you're out together somewhere. You're polite to the waitress, not flirtatious, not trying to impress. just naturally charismatic. You make the waitress laugh. You say hello to the bartender. You exchange a friendly joke with the woman behind the counter. Not because you're trying to trigger jealousy, because that's simply how you move through the world. And she notices something. Women respond positively to your presence. They smile. They relax around you. They engage. That's when something ancient switches on in her psychology. Competition. Now she's no longer evaluating whether she likes you. She's evaluating how easily she could lose you. And that tiny shift in perception changes everything. Because a woman cannot become obsessed with something she believes she fully owns. Ownership kills desire. Uncertainty fuels it. When she realizes your attention is not guaranteed, when she senses other women might enjoy that same attention, suddenly the game becomes real. Your presence stops feeling like something she automatically receives. It becomes something she might have to secure, something she might have to compete for. And competition is where obsession begins. Now let's move to the final piece of the puzzle. Trick number 7, the Zeigarnik effect. Have you ever watched a show that ended on a brutal cliffhanger? Right when the story gets intense, the screen cuts to black. Next season coming soon. And suddenly you're furious. You open your phone, you search forums, you message friends, you replay the final scene over and over in your head. Why? Because the human brain hates unfinished stories. It hates open loops. Psychologists call this the Zeigarnik effect. Our minds remember incomplete experiences far more vividly than completed ones. And most men unknowingly remove all mystery from themselves within the first hour. They tell their life story on the first date. Their childhood, their heartbreaks, their dreams, their insecurities, everything laid out neatly on the table. They become a finished book, read cover to cover in a single sitting. Nothing left to discover, nothing left to imagine. And once curiosity dies, attention follows. So if you want to create obsession, you must become the cliffhanger. Imagine you're telling a story. It's getting interesting. She's leaning forward. You pause. You glance at your watch. Then you say calmly, "You know what? That story actually gets insane at the end. I'll tell you the rest another time." And you change the subject. Watch what happens. She'll protest. "Wait, no, tell me now." You smile. Later, now she goes home, and her brain keeps circling that unfinished story like a mosquito around a light. What happened at the end? Why did he stop there? That incomplete moment stays alive in her mind, long after the conversation ended. Or send a text like this: "I just saw something that reminded me of you. It was ridiculous." And then, silence. No explanation. No follow-up. For hours. Now her brain starts filling in the blanks. Was it something good? Something embarrassing? Something funny? Is he thinking about me right now? Without realizing it, she keeps returning to the thought of you. You've planted yourself inside her mental real estate, and the rent is free. Here's another subtle move. End conversations first. Not when they're dying, when they're alive, when the energy is high, when she's laughing, when she's engaged. That's when you stand up. "That was fun. I've got to run." Leave before the moment decays, because people remember peaks, not slow endings. Always leave a conversation with a question mark, never a period. Now you understand the 7 triggers. The vacuum of validation, fracturing the pedestal. The dopamine rollercoaster, the power of no. Future nostalgia, the triangle of desire, and the cliffhanger. If you actually apply these, something fascinating will start happening. You'll notice her eye contact linger longer. You'll see the double texts, the "Hey, are you busy" messages. You'll feel the subtle shift in power. But here's the twist most men never hear. None of these tricks work if you're secretly desperate. If you're staring at your phone, counting the minutes, trying to time your responses like a nervous gambler, she will feel it. Women are extremely sensitive to emotional weakness. They can detect neediness through a single text message. These strategies only work if they come from a deeper mindset, detachment. Stoicism, the understanding that your life is the center of gravity, not her. Your mission, your direction, your standards. When a man genuinely understands that his life is bigger than any single woman, something changes in his presence. He becomes dangerous, not because he manipulates, because he cannot be controlled. When you are fully willing to walk away, that's when your attention becomes valuable. The truth is, this dark psychology isn't really about controlling women. It's about removing the weakness inside you that made you easy to control. It's about killing the needy boy most men never outgrow. So the man underneath can finally breathe. Obsession is always a reaction to power, not loud power, not money, not status. The quiet power of a man who is emotionally self-contained. Most men are open fields. Anyone can walk across them. Anyone can leave footprints. But the man who understands these principles becomes something else. A fortress. Walls high, gate closed, not hostile, just selective. And when a woman senses that there is something behind those walls she hasn't yet earned access to, curiosity ignites. Mystery sustains it. And that mystery is what keeps the fire alive. So now you know how obsession begins. But the real question is something deeper. What happens after she's already hooked? What happens when attraction turns into attachment? How do you maintain power without becoming cold? How do you move from seducer to the man she refuses to leave? That is a different level of the game, and most men aren't ready for it yet. But if you're tired of being the man who gives everything and gets forgotten, if you're ready to sharpen the darker edges of your masculinity, then you're exactly where you need to be. Don't just watch, test it. Pick one of these principles, use it today. Observe what changes, and if you're ready to go deeper into the psychology of power, attraction, and the hidden dynamics most men never learn, subscribe. This channel isn't for passive viewers. It's for men who want to understand the game beneath the surface. Most men will never understand the game, but you do. I'll see you among the few.